Herpa has once again made a DHL 757. That alone is definitely not worth any headlines, but there are some good reasons why this aircraft model might be worth your time. Of course, it is a Herpa Wings model, so there are also some good reasons why it might not be. But we can take a closer look at it today thanks to the great prices of the FMB shop. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 757-200F of DHL. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the DHL branding. On the back side of the box we then unfortunately have another cutout, destroying any hopes of a decent box design from Herpa Wings, so the only thing of interest here is simply the fact that this is a limited edition. And here she is, the Boeing 757-200F in the standard DHL livery with the addition of the Servus Austria sticker. Now, this is hardly the first DHL 757 we have received from Herpa Wings over the years, but there are a few changes to this aircraft model from previous ones which might make it interesting or worth your time. One reason that in particular makes this aircraft model different from previous ones, and is also probably the main reason why this aircraft model has been made, is the change from a UK-based, so a Golf registration, to an Oscar Echo registration, so an Austrian-based registration. This happened because DHL moved their AOC from the UK to Austria as a direct consequence of the Brexit. So if we take a closer look at the vertical stabilizer, we find the DHL branding, and on the fuselage we then have, as mentioned, the Austrian registration and therefore also the Austrian flag, alongside the aircraft type specification, and towards the very tail of the aircraft also a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage, we then once again find the DHL branding. One thing I really like here is the fact that Herpa has added static ports. Now, they do say that they usually add them as standard, but especially with freighters it's an important detail because they don't often have that many details in their print, so any additional detail that can be added is great. The main feature of the livery, however, is of course the addition of the Servus Austria sticker with the Austrian flag. This was of course added to celebrate, or to mark at least, the change of the AOC from the UK registration to the Austrian registration. On the other side of the fuselage it then says "Hello Austria." When we look at the cockpit section, we find the cockpit windows and the window wipers have been added on. Above that, we also find the last two letters of the registration code, but there's more to be said about the cockpit section, and I will go into that a little bit later in this video. Because firstly, I would also like to take a quick look at the engines, which have been kept in this light grey color and have the silver leading edge added on. There are no safety relevant markings printed on here, but the aircraft does not appear to have that in real life either, so I think Herpa is excused, but there is unfortunately an issue with the print, which I will also go a little bit more into detail about later in the video. The physical detailing itself is, I think, alright. It could look better from the back side, but from the front at least it does look quite nice. Now, moving on from the engine ourselves, we should also take a quick look at the wings, starting off at the top side where we can see the different flap slats and spoilers have been carved out very nicely. Also, the underside of the wings offers us some more nice physical detailing and the full registration code of the aircraft once more. A new detail on this aircraft model is the addition of winglets. This is the first 757 of DHL that is featuring this detail. The landing gear itself is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all their Boeing 757s. Whether you like it or not, this is, I guess, a question of personal taste, but this is just how Herpa does things. But what is definitely missing here are some printed details around the front landing gear. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartment printed on, here at the back of the aircraft, here at the front of the aircraft, and of course on the other side, the main cargo hatch has been added as well. So there we have it, the Boeing 757-200F and the standard DHL livery with the addition of the Servus Austria sticker in scale 1 to 500 from Herpa Wings. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, apart from the fact that this is the first DHL model from Herpa Wings in scale 500 with an Austrian registration, it is also the first 757 DHL aircraft model from Herpa Wings that has winglets, so that is definitely a nice addition. But there are a few issues with this aircraft model we need to talk about. The first and definitely the biggest issue can be found around the engines. Now, I was lucky enough to catch the aircraft in real life, at least partially, but we can see the engine of the aircraft, and that is the important thing, because notice here you have the light grey color on the engine, and then you have like a darker metallic ring at the back part of the nacelle. Now, we also have that with the Herpa Wings model, however here this dark metallic ring is just too wide. The strange thing is, this is far from the first 757 model from Herpa Wings, and they have never had an issue with this exact detail. So why they now suddenly have this issue, I don't understand. What I even less understand is the fact that they are selling a model with such an obvious mistake. They should definitely have fixed that before releasing the model. Now, the next issue might not actually be an issue. I know many collectors, just like me, were a bit concerned when we saw first images of this aircraft model. It looked like the front landing gear was perhaps too tall, or at least that the front of the aircraft was tilting a bit too much upwards, so giving the aircraft the illusion of being about to take off. However, when I compare it to another 757 from Herpa Wings, in this case a United Airlines 757-200, it just doesn't appear to have any issues. It is the same height, it is just as tall as the other 757, so I can't really explain it other than that perhaps the livery is contributing to some kind of optical illusion that from some angles the aircraft might look like it is tilting upwards. If you have a better explanation why this might be, then let me know in the comments section below. But for me, this issue does not actually appear to be there, which I guess is good. So with one issue gone and the other one unfortunately still there, it is time to end today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like, and of course if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.